Theresa Caputo, a medium from Long Island, lost both of her parents in a terrible car accident. Her mother is very ill, while her father is making a full recovery. Due to a severe head injury, Theresa's mother is currently in critical condition. Nothing can be said for sure right now, because her condition is very complicated. Only time will tell how the situation will turn out, the doctor responded when Theresa questioned him about her mother's health. The Long Island medium, Theresa Caputo, had dedicated her life to reassuring people with messages from the afterlife. She was well known for her large hair, her glowing personality, and her extraordinary gift of spirit communication. However, nothing at all could have prepared her for the call she got one chilly October evening. A little after 8 p.m., suddenly her phone rang. After a long day of readings, she was enjoying a cup of tea in her kitchen when her brother's quivering voice could be heard over the phone. Mom and Dad were involved in an automobile accident, Theresa. It's not good. Her heart stopped. She didn't even notice the sound when the mug fell out of her hands and broke on the tiled floor. It seemed as though her legs could no longer support her. By bad, do you mean? With panic rushing through her chest, she demanded. His voice cracked as he said, "They're at the hospital. They claim Dad is stable despite his injuries. Mom is seriously ill. Brain injury. They are unsure if she will survive." Without saying another word, Theresa snatched up her keys and hurried out the door. With each red light representing an intolerable weight, the drive to the hospital seemed to go on forever. She couldn't stop thinking about all the moments she had ever spent with her parents. The debates, the Sunday dinners, the laughter, and the many times her mother had supported her despite everyone's doubts about her talent. Her heels clicked against the floor as she dashed through the hospital's sterile hallways. She discovered her father, injured but conscious, lying in a hospital bed. His eyes were watering as he reached for her hand. Using the nickname he had given her when she was a young child, he whispered, "Tree." He said, "I'm fine, but your mother," his voice cracked. As Theresa turned to face the doctor standing close by, her gut clenched. With a shaky voice, she said, "Please tell me what's going on with my mother." Theresa recognized the serious expression on the doctor's face from previous times she had delivered words to families who had already lost a loved one. He replied softly, "Your mother has sustained a serious head injury. Her condition is really complex at the moment. We are unable to make any firm statements. How she reacts will only become clear with time." Theresa collapsed into a chair and covered her face with her hands as her knees gave way. She felt completely helpless for the first time in her life. She was able to communicate with the dead, but she was powerless to alter the lives of the living. With the comfort that their loved ones were still with them, she had sent thousands of notes to bereaved families. However, she was now unable to contact her own mother. The next few hours were excruciating. Sitting by her mother's bedside, Theresa observed the machines that tracked each delicate breath. "Ma, you're strong," she said softly as she grasped her hand. "You've been resilient throughout your life. Fight, please. Don't abandon us just yet." Even though he was in pain, her father insisted on being wheeled into the intensive care unit to sit with them. He took Theresa's hand and murmured, "She needs to hear our voices." Theresa felt herself praying more fervently than ever as night gave way to daylight. She reflected on the several families who had sought solace from her following a loss. It was the first time she had ever comprehended their desperation. Every second seemed to drag on forever, and the heart monitor's constant beeps served as a constant reminder that her mother's destiny was at stake. As word got out, friends, family, and even fans started contacting her. Online, messages flooded in with prayers, love, and optimism. For once, it was strangers' generosity that was lifting the woman who always gave others courage. Theresa was aware that her mother's spirit was resilient no matter what. She would consider it a miracle if she survived. And if she didn't, Theresa thought that her mother's love would endure in every recollection and message from beyond, so she wouldn't really be gone. However, she held on to the dream that her mother would open her eyes once more, smile, and refer to her as "my Theresa" as she sat in that hospital room, listening to the steady rhythm of the machines. But Theresa Caputo was getting ready for another reading as the sun was just starting to drop on Long Island, illuminating the sky with delicate pink and orange hues. A family from New Jersey had reached out to her, eager to learn more about the peculiar events their little son, Ethan, had been having. Even though Ethan was just 9 years old, his parents said he was exceptionally sensitive. Ethan said he could still see his grandparents, who died 2 years ago in a terrible vehicle accident. Late at night, he would tell his parents that Grandma tucks me in or Grandpa tells me stories. His parents attempted to brush it off as his imagination, but the youngster would divulge information about his grandparents' lives that he couldn't possibly know, details that were never shared with him. They saw it as a sign when they discovered that Ethan and Theresa Caputo truly had the same birthday. Theresa might be able to provide some light on what was going on. With trepidation, the family entered Theresa's comfortable and warm reading room, where the soft glow of the lamps and the aroma of the candles made everything feel nice. First to greet Ethan, Theresa knelt down to look him in the eyes. Theresa grinned broadly and added, Well, we birthday twins. Ethan, what is your birthday this year? Ethan hesitantly said, 9, while holding his mother's hand. Theresa laughed and said, And I won't tell how old I am, but let's just say we both have a special connection. And I believe that's the reason we're here today. Theresa could already sense the room's energy changing. She didn't need much time, since when children were present, spirits were always willing to come forth. Theresa closed her eyes as the session started. She sensed a powerful presence almost immediately, a loving, protective, grandmotherly energy. Theresa whispered, Your grandmother is here, Ethan. She tells me that her crazy tunes always made you chuckle. Do you recall her vocals? Ethan's gaze expanded. Indeed. In the past, she would compose songs about spaghetti. His mother covered her mouth in a gasp. Ethan had never heard those stories, yet that was true. Theresa went on. She says she still sings to you at night, when you can't sleep. You hear music in your head before you fall asleep because of this. She is informing you that you are safe. Ethan grinned, seemingly happy that the burden of demonstrating his experience had finally been removed. Then a more powerful, deeper energy emerged. Theresa sensed a grandfather's solid, guiding presence. With a firm voice, she added, Your grandfather is here too. Something about teaching you how to hold the bat is what he keeps talking about in relation to baseball. Ethan smiled. I work out in the backyard with him. He advises me to pay close attention. Tears clouded Theresa's eyes. He's really experiencing them, she said in a whisper as she glanced at Ethan's parents. This isn't fantasy. These ghosts are real. The parents were so overcome with emotion that they clung to one another. They had been concerned about Ethan for years, wondering whether he was making everything up or whether bereavement had distorted his impressionable mind. Now, however, it was indisputable. Then an extraordinary event occurred. Theresa inclined toward Ethan. She added cautiously, They're telling me that you and I share more than just a birthday. Ethan, you have a gift. A gift similar to mine. Most folks can't see or hear what you can. They came to me in order to aid you, that's why. Ethan's face brightened. He didn't feel weird for the first time. He didn't experience social rejection. He felt unique. Having this gift isn't always easy, Theresa added gently. You might not be believed by others. However, your grandparents want you to understand that you're never truly alone. Until the day you are less in need of them, they will always be there for you, protecting and guiding you. The environment became cooler at that point, and Theresa sensed a final message. According to your granny, happy birthday to him. We are right next to him every year when the candles are lighted. Tears sprang to Ethan's eyes, but they weren't tears of sadness. See, he muttered, turning to face his mother. Grandma and Grandpa came to my birthday, as I mentioned. With their son in their arms, the parents sobbed aloud. Theresa smiled pleasantly despite being terribly moved. Ethan, you are a very wonderful boy. It's not just a coincidence that we have the same birth date. It serves as a reminder. A reminder that you have a genuine gift and will eventually know just how to use it. Hugs, Laughing and a renewed sense of calm marked the end of the session. Ethan skipped out the door as the family departed, freed from the worry that no one would believe him. Now that his grandparents were still with him, he got the approval he required to accept his past. After they departed, Theresa sat in silence for a while, thinking. Even though she has performed countless of readings, this one was genuinely remarkable. Maybe it was because she recognized herself in Ethan, a young child who was misinterpreted but was picked to follow a certain path. Theresa also whispered, almost to the world itself, as she extinguished the candle in her reading room. Ethan, happy birthday. You're going to accomplish incredible things. But sitting peacefully in her well-known studio, Theresa Caputo could hardly hear the faint hum of the city outside. Photos of clients, notes, and mementos from the spirits she had assisted in communicating with over the years were strewn throughout her office, which was decorated in soothing lavender and blue hues. The door opened as she was going over notes for her next reading, and a couple entered, their faces marked with a mix of fatigue and hope. The woman said, trembling, "Hello, Theresa. I'm not sure if you can assist us, but we've exhausted all other options. 15 years ago, our daughter passed away, and we've never given up searching or hoping." Theresa motioned them to have a seat. "Slow down," she murmured softly. "Tell me everything." The man then spoke while firmly grasping his wife's hand. "Emily is her name. When she vanished, she was just 3 years old. We were informed that she vanished while on a family vacation, but there was never any solid proof or leads. It feels like a piece of us is gone every day after 15 years. His voice broke. "We simply want to know if she's all right, if she is still alive." Theresa nodded, the grief they were experiencing weighing heavily on her heart. She inhaled deeply and closed her eyes. The spirit world can occasionally provide tidbits of information when the living are unable to. You must be prepared and open for me. Spirits frequently express themselves through sensations, pictures, or experiences captured in time. With a glimmer of optimism in their eyes, the pair nodded. Theresa started to concentrate. With her fingers lightly resting on the table, she closed her eyes. After a few moments, she muttered, "I see her. I spot a young girl. The woman is grinning. She has something in her hand, a little photograph of her family. She seems to be attempting to communicate with me by showing it to me." The woman let out a gasp. "A picture? That isn't conceivable at all. That day, we never had one. We were unaware of her whereabouts." Slowly, Theresa opened her eyes. "She wants you to see this picture. She wants you to know that she remembers you and is doing well. I picture her in a setting that seems secure, warm, brilliant, nearly gilded. She wants you to know that she is not alone." The man's hands shook. "Will you please show it to us? Would you please bring it to us?" Theresa gave a soft shake of her head. "I am unable to bring the actual photo. However, ghosts can occasionally enter our minds through images we already have or conjure up new ones. Focus. Try to visualize the picture she is holding when she showed it to me." Theresa softly led the pair as they closed their eyes. "It's her, your Emily, actually. She is grinning as she stands in a park with the sun shining on her hair. Your face is in her hands. She is demonstrating to you that she never forgets your affection." The woman's cheeks were wet with tears. "Oh my God, that's her. She looked just like that." She always adored the park, as seen by the clothing and the ribbon in her hair. Theresa went on, her tone steady and gentle. "She's attempting to convey another message to you. She urges you to stay hopeful and find serenity. She is safe and alive in spirit. Additionally, I have a message for you. I've never stopped loving you," she declares. "You are by my side no matter what." Shaking with emotion, the man gave his wife a hug. He muttered, "I can feel it. I can feel her here." Theresa gave a nod. This link serves as a reminder that love never dies, but it doesn't replace what you've lost. It goes beyond. She is urging you to keep going, treasure your memories, and have faith that she is content and at peace wherever she is right now. Theresa's vision suddenly became more acute. "Something else catches my eye. a tiny packet hidden aside, just waiting to be discovered. She's indicating it. Something material that was left for you. The woman's gaze expanded. An envelope? However, where? Theresa gave a gentle smile. The cosmos has a way of leading you to what is supposed to be discovered, but I can't tell you exactly what it is. Follow your gut and pay attention to the indications that she is leaving. And when you do find it, know that it is a reminder that she is always with you in every memory and every heartbeat, a piece of her love. A hallowed calm hung over the room as the pair sat in stillness. Theresa, thank you, the woman muttered. She seems to be right here with us, as if we have touched her. Theresa grasped their hands in hers.
She is.
Love never dies. It just changes shape. And occasionally, the spirits manage to remind us that, despite our feelings of loneliness, we are never really separated from the people we care about. Through his tears, the man grinned. We're going complete, yet we came in broken.
Thank you.
Theresa smiled softly as she nodded. Keep in mind that they are constantly loving, watching, and sending signals. You only need to let your heart expand. Theresa saw a calmness descend upon the room as they departed. Another heart restored, another soul united, another reminder that love is an enduring connection. And someplace, in the brilliant light of the spirit realm, little Emily was grinning and finally sending her love to her parents' hearts. But with her customary poise, Theresa Caputo entered the sheriff's office's tiny, brightly lit room. Plaques, praises, and pictures of the town's past, of happy families, regional celebrations, and law enforcement personnel who had devoted their lives to the community, lined the walls. But the atmosphere felt different today, heavier in some way. Sheriff Raymond Hall, a guy in his mid-50s, sat behind the desk, his eyes tired and his shoulders stiff. The sheriff himself had requested that Theresa be brought here. He had heard rumors that Theresa, the Long Island medium who helps people connect with their deceased loved ones, would be able to assist him. He had been having trouble sleeping for weeks because of recollections of a terrible vehicle accident that killed 3 local kids. He had begun to question his capacity to continue serving his community due to the burden of shame and obligation. Theresa held out her hand with a kind grin. She responded softly, "Thank you for inviting me, Sheriff Hall. I hope I can help bring some peace. I know this isn't easy for you." With a firm but weary grip, the sheriff shook her hand. He said, "I just don't know if anyone can help. I see their faces all the time. In my dreams, I can hear their voices. I'm always considering what I could have done differently." Theresa gave a sympathetic nod. "You're heard. Additionally, your feelings are normal. It can be very difficult to bear the burden of duty, particularly when it comes to prematurely lost lives. However, occasionally the ghosts of our departed loved ones wish to communicate with us in the form of messages of forgiveness and healing." The sheriff's gaze flitted doubtfully. "You truly believe they can get in touch with me?" Theresa whispered, "I do." As though she were making contact with an invisible force, she briefly closed her eyes and placed her hand lightly on the sheriff's desk. "I already sense their presence. One in particular, a young girl who is radiant and incredibly sweet. I think she wants you to understand that you had nothing to do with the accident. She desires that you let go of the guilt you have been harboring." Sheriff Hall reclined in his chair, his face displaying a mix of relaxation and incredulity. "Every day, I've placed the blame on myself. I kept thinking about what I should have done and what I could have done differently." With a steady, caring stare, Theresa opened her eyes. "We can't always alter the past. However, the spirits I'm communicating with want you to know that it is possible to forgive. Just as they have forgiven you, they want you to forgive yourself. They want you to find peace because they are at peace." There was stillness in the room. Theresa spoke softly as the sheriff's eyes became hazy. "They also want you to know that they recognize and value your commitment to this town. Every family you support and every life you save matters. Your passion and work matter, even in the face of tragedy." Sheriff Hall forced himself not to cry as he swallowed. I had no idea that they could sense that. In light of the catastrophe, I believed that nothing I did mattered. Theresa gave a comforting grin. Nothing you do is ever overlooked. And occasionally, in times like these, the universe gives us messages to remind us that even the most intense suffering can lead to recovery. Theresa took a moment to process what she had said. Then her voice, which was a combination of strength and compassion, became a little firmer. The young girl I'm getting along with, Sheriff, she's named Emma. She wants to express her forgiveness to you directly. She says she's proud of your heart and the way you've helped the community, and she wants you to go on without having to bear the weight alone. After weeks, Sheriff Hall's shoulders finally relaxed. Emma, I wish I could see her one last time. Tell her I'm sorry and that I care, he added, his voice trembling. Theresa gave a nod. In your heart, you can. She is sending you love while she is here with us. You can connect with her even if you can't see her in person. She wants you to live life to the fullest once more and carry on changing the world without being consumed by guilt. Theresa continued to deliver messages from the sheriff's spirit for the following few minutes, providing words of support, assurance, and direction. The space was lighter, almost bright, where it had previously been oppressive and thick. As though a thick layer of fog had lifted from his chest, the sheriff felt a warmth he hadn't felt in months. Theresa gave a quiet smile at the conclusion of the reading. Sheriff Hall, keep in mind that recovery is a process. By allowing the message to enter your heart, you've taken the first step. Allow it to lead you, and don't be scared to ask for help from those you care about. The ghosts will constantly keep watch over you. Sheriff Hall held out his hand once more after wiping a tear from his face. Theresa, thank you. For the first time in a long time, I feel lighter. I believe that I can at last begin to forgive myself. Theresa smiled brightly as she nodded. That's my only wish. Forgiveness, peace, and the strength to go on. You are not traveling alone. The sunshine coming in through the windows looked brighter than it had been as Theresa left the sheriff's office. Sheriff Hall reclined as a wave of calmness passed over him. He connected for the first time since the disaster, not only with the dead, but with the live world he was tasked with defending. He now realized that, for both himself and the people he had lost, mending meant accepting love and forgiveness rather than forgetting. Sheriff Hall silently vowed then and there to continue, to serve with a lighter heart, and to remember those who had crossed over, especially Emma, whose lesson in forgiveness had changed his life. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mina, and I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.